So I'm learning all kinds of fun things today. I'm learning how to make shorts and I'm learning how to jazz up my Patreon. Who knew? You can join my Patreon if you want to. It's down below. You can, I don't know. We're going to try all kinds of things because who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I love doing this work. And I love being with you. So I figured one of the things that we would start with is how we pick our divination tools. How do you pick them? If you're in the spiritual community and you're a particular religious practice, you may have been taught, as I was, that, using other things other than the Book of Common Prayer in the Anglican Church and the Bible, anything other than that was considered a big, big no-no. But really, you should follow whatever religious practices you believe in, and you should use whatever tools are part of that practice. But for me, and as a Celtic spiritualist, I think that there are all kinds of tools that are available to me, but I'm drawn to some more than others. And so, for example, as I've said 100 million times, I think, on this channel, I don't read tarot. I watch tarot channels, and people have read for me, but I just don't resonate as a reader with them. I don't understand them. It's just not my style. I do like runes. That's the thing I like. And runes are not Celtic. Runes are Germanic. But I'm also German, so I feel like it's part of who I am. That's who I'm composed of. But Ogham, which is the Irish writing style, which is found in parts of Scotland too. And both runes and Ogham they were alphabets. They were not created as divination tools. They were created as alphabets. So, but we've used them. We've reappropriated them. So I like reading runes. I like reading oracle cards, and I'm often drawn to different artwork. I like the two decks that I use. I've actually pulled a few others out to work with them and then maybe share them with you because they might resonate with you, and that'll be a helpful tool. But what I thought I would do today is just talk about different kinds of runes, right? So I use rune stones because I'm very connected to the stone, right? Stone has existed long before any of us, were invented, and humans were invented, and stone will outlive us all. So I'm very connected to stones and rock, and when people go away and they say, what can I bring you back? I always say, bring me a stone. If you go to Ireland, bring me a stone. If you go to, Iceland, bring me a stone, right? And that's why I have so many little extra stones in my stone bag, in my rune bag. But I have other kinds of runes. So there are divination decks that are rune decks. I have a few of those. Those just don't resonate with me because I like feeling the stone. And I also had these made for myself for my birthday 2 years ago, and they're beautiful. The artist who did them, they're just beautiful, and they're gorgeous. They're burned and they smell terrific, but they just don't resonate with me as a divination tool. I was so excited when I got them, but I just really like that stone in my hand. Now, you don't need any extra tools because you are the only divination tool that you need. Every religious practice has, either prayer or meditation or whatever, and if you're not religious and you're spiritual or you're pagan or you're none of those things, right? Your higher self, whatever it is that you want to call in, however you want to manifest things or however you want to think about things, that all begins in you, in your heart, in your soul. So you don't need all these extra tools. You don't need all these extra things. And I think when people get into the spiritual community, as I did, once I gave myself permission to use this kind of stuff, because I was raised in a very conservative church that didn't allow for any of this stuff. It was, satanic and occultist and all that. Once I realized that was just bupkis, and that you bring meaning to whatever it is you have, and anything can be used. I have this glass of iced tea here. I could throw this glass at somebody and it would hurt them, right? Or I could drink my tea from it, which is what I'm going to do, right? So, anything can be used for good or not. Technology, AI can be used for good or not. It just depends on how the person behind the computer is using it, right? So these divination tools bring you meaning. So when I think about the things that bring me meaning, I like the stones, right? And I like the stones that I'm using now because they're from Scotland. I have a gorgeous set that my niece made me, but they're a little bit fragile because she used ink on them, and then I use them so much that the ink came off, and she redid them for me, and they came off again. So I kind of just have those set aside as special. But you don't need those things. You can do all, you can do all your divination work with you and, meditating or, just sitting quietly and thinking. And we're going to be talking about all of those different ways that you can connect with spirit. But the first thing to know is that the only thing you need is you. I am wishing you the best in light and love. Be well. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.